Hello, and welcome to Saga Roll. I'm Toasty, one of our resident storytellers and occasional table gremlins. We are a group of friendly, like minded individuals which enjoy sharing our interests with you, our audience. Be advised, however, that our content can tend to cover mature situations, strong language, and possible distressing scenarios. With that in mind, welcome to our table.
I've started
All
the
right, there
music
you go.
anyway.
All right.
Welcome back to the next episode of Dark Shoals with minor technical difficulties. Our last night spent with our fresh group of Cainites was rather interesting. A murder, not necessarily a mystery, a chance encounter, unexpected, and some newlywed bliss. Hank, how did your evening go with Frank?
Yeah, great evening. We found out where the lowlifes who beat up my friend lived or worked.
Mm-hmm.
We went to their club. Um, we found him. Um, he ran away. We had a little bit of fun chasing him down a few alleys, and then we caught him, and we asked him a few questions. Um, and then basically Hank said to Frank, "Off you go. You do what you do best, Frank."
And that he did. Frank, what did you do?
I drained him. I sucked everything out of him. And then we put his head in a drain, so it looked like all of his blood had drained out into the sewers. And it was lovely.
After that, he went a bit strange, as he normally does
Yeah.
around these sort of times. Um, kind of wandering past cafes and then wandering back and looking in the cafe windows. And then, as we were heading back to the club, he saw a strange figure.
Hat guy.
Mm-hmm.
That guy.
Hat Guy. What do you remember about Hat Guy?
He reminded me a bit of Mr. the Gardener.
Mm-hmm.
He had a bit of a weird kind of porcelain, kind of fucked up face. But he was kind of well dressed, and he had a top hat, and he, like a performer, perhaps.
Very similar. You thought it was maybe an individual dressed for a specific time period. They have a few of those that walk around the quarter and make you feel a little bit more like you're there a couple decades or so ago rather than current.
He didn't say anything. He was more kind of miming.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
You
and he
did hear
seemed,
his laughter.
yeah. Oh, that's true. And I was interested because I thought I'd been guided to him.
Correct. And why did you think that? It was something that
Because
happened on your way through that area.
when the wife turned up, and that's why I was looking in the cafe window at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I reached out with my senses to perceive the unseen. I can't remember what drew me to him in the first place, though. It
So,
wasn't a sight of Sarah. It was I think it was her voice or a sound of her laughing or something like that.
so originally you were walking by like a corner coffee shop, very small. It was shuttered doors,
Yeah.
drawn closed, and you heard not just your wife speaking. You heard like the clatter of a spoon stirring in a cup. You got the scent of coffee. You didn't just hear your wife's voice though. You heard your daughter laughing as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe you said, "I'll be right there." You were looking for your
For my
key.
keys.
Yes, and then you felt a hand on your pocket where you were patting for your keys and you turned to look in that direction.
Mm.
Or you felt a presence like brush past you, and as you turned, um the world was still a little off kilter. Your senses were very narrowed because you were fixated so much on this instance happening to you, and as you looked forward, you saw the gentleman ahead of you, and he acknowledged you. But by the time, like, you asked, Hank, is he there? Um, he was already turning the corner. Because you couldn't tell if he was part of what was going on around you or not.
Yeah. We chased him. I chased him, but I
we got to look at him, didn't we?
Yeah.
So, you definitely tried to chase him down. Hank, you caught up to Frank and you managed to talk him down, a little bit of sense. Just, yes, he's there, but you don't think you should follow him. And
Because
you
of the
saw his.
fact that we're not presented.
Yes. So, Hank, you saw his back. Frank, you saw his face, and that was why you weren't certain if he was actually there or not, because his face was drained of color, very similar, as you said, to the gardener in its appearance in the color, but it looked as though his skin had been stretched very tight over his bone structure instead. Whereas the gardener's is much more of a smooth porcelain look. This was very like tight and almost unpleasant, but you could see a wide, toothy smile on his face. And as he turned the corner, he was laughing. You did call out to him, Frank.
Yeah, I said that I can't come tonight, but I will look out for you in the future once everything's all sorted.
Mm-hmm. And he tipped his hat up in acknowledgement without ever turning around, turned a corner, and I believe, Hank, you actually let go of Frank to kind of check and see if he was around that corner, and he had disappeared.
Yeah.
After that, the two of you made your way back to the 500 Club and posted up for the evening.
Yeah.
Dr. Isaac,
Yes.
how did your evening go upon returning to the city?
Oh, it went well. Nothing out of the ordinary happened. I just, went by the library and got some books and met a guy
Charming.
who
Aye.
wants a boon, whatever that is.
Do you remember the words exactly when you asked what a boon was?
That's for me to know and for you to find out.
More or less, yes. And did he help you find the books you were looking for?
I don't think so.
He did. The ones you were looking for were not present, and he pointed you to other ones that would actually suit what you're trying to figure out when you described what you were looking for. He said there was not a comprehensive, like, ancient Greek or Latin present, but if you combine the two or three that you picked up, you would be able to decipher whatever it is you're working on.
Okay. And then I went home and I fixed up my apartment to attempt to sleep in the day.
Everybody made quite a few attempts on their home lives. Speaking of which, Jules, how is your home life progressing as a newlywed Cainite?
Oh, yeah, like, got some action, the hubby is like, gonna fall in line and everything. He's it seems a little hurt that, like, Jules is just kind of cold to him now. But hey, that's how things go after you're dead. So
He's definitely compensating for it and he's usually doting on you, but he's definitely kind of turned that up a little bit.
yeah. But he's making do, also making sure to set up the the new sleeping quarters and everything. They had trouble with the bed.
Mm-hmm.
He was a little bit more upset than Jules was, but Jules handled it and just didn't really worry about the bed the antique bed?
It's a family heirloom that gets passed down. It's just a traditional item, and he very much wanted to make certain that you had anything and everything that either you wanted or your father had given you.
Yeah, he's a little he wants
High
to please
strung.
dad. Yeah, high strung. He's definitely like, wanting to please dad and all. Like
I can't blame him considering the family you come from and the amount of threats which were probably levied his way if he didn't make you absolutely happy.
probably so, probably so. I mean, and also from the brothers, not only from the father, but from also the brothers
Oh,
as well.
yes.
So, but hey, what can you do?
Let's be honest. It would be a miracle if you lived long enough to run into your father with the number of brothers you have and how protective they can be.
Very true, very true. I can't remember their names right off the bat out of character, but that's why I have the sheet. So, but yeah, I'm trying to remember what else happened between me and Romero. Well, Jules and Romero.
You wanted to set up a meeting with the others.
Right,
You
right,
wanted to host them
right.
so that Romero can meet them, and he said that it sounds like it could be a pretty useful group. They should be careful about Peter, however you introduced him. I believe it was Peter.
I think so.
But it would be good business to have someone in his position if it goes well.
Right, and also, I think Jules, if I remember right, wanted him to make inquiries about the club where she met
The 500 Club.
yeah, the 500 Club where she met oh god,
Josephine.
yeah, Josephine, but she didn't say the name Josephine. She just
The owner.
the owner, yeah. She
You
made
wanted it. He picked up what you were trying to subtly put down, that you want a chance encounter with Josephine, business wise, that you've heard a few things and you want to speak with her without making it too obvious. So he's going to try and arrange something where people like Josephine and yourself would attend.
Gotcha. That's it. Yeah.
Peter,
Hi.
hi. You had an eventful night. The others had a pretty decent night, but you had a very interesting encounter. How did your evening go after you made your copies at the police station?
That's right. Yeah, went on a bit of a scavenger hunt really to try and find one of my old informants. Managed to speak to some individuals, get a little bit more information, tracked him down to potentially being by the old convent. Did a bit of a covert entry and found him convalescing after being attacked by something.
Do you remember the description he gave you?
Monstrous, I think it was.
Monstrous. Yes.
So, like, Nosferatu-esque, which is kind of what I'm thinking. But we can certainly get some more information off him when he's feeling a bit better.
And what did you do to help him feel better?
I galled the shit out of him.
I didn't expect that. Give me a moment. Storyteller disabled. Yes. In fact, you did. You took proper care of him.
Yeah.
With a fantastic bedside manner of a full glass of water, which may or may not have had a healthy dosing of canine blood. Hint, it did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was already starting to feel better by the time you were able to get him to lay back down. Pain had begun to ease, but you could tell that he would probably still need a bit of time to rest and recover.
Definitely. Yeah, but I want to use him to whatever end I can feel I want to. So it'd be quite handy to have about as someone who can
come and go during daylight hours, and yeah, be my bitch, really.
This poor man thinks that you've come to him out of genuine concern, and you're just like, here, yeah, I'll figure it out. I'll figure out what happened to you. Be careful. By the way, here's a glass of water. You look like you're thirsty. All right, now do everything I say for the rest of your life. Without question.
That's vampire.
Vampire. Can I just say congratulations on creating the first ghoul of the group? Nobody had that on their bingo card. I'm pretty sure no one had that on their bingo card.
Yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. So that might be quite useful.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Okay, picking up on the current night. The scene begins inside the club, where we have Josephine seated behind her desk, feet picked up on the corner, short stiletto heels pointed out towards the window as she's looking over a set of documents in her hands, flipping through the papers. It seems like her mind is partially elsewhere, but her keen eye is quickly reading over the lines, and occasionally she'll stop, go back, and look over another page, and once she's satisfied that she's connected the dots, she continues through them before looking across the desk at where Hank is.
Hank's just waiting for it to finish. Not interrupting.
Ledger looks good. You did well yesterday, especially how you handled the body after. Not always easy with the situation you were given.
No, I gotta give Frank credit for that one. He thought fast on his feet and made it happen. So yeah. I'd like to go after the other two, but as you say, it can wait. And
No, I think that's a good thing, but
yeah,
let's do that after you're introduced. It'll go a long way in the eye of the Primogen and the council.
yeah, definitely. Do you want me to try to round everyone up and bring them back here, or
No, it's too risky, especially with you having run into the gentleman that you did yesterday.
okay? So what's the plan?
Talk amongst yourselves. If one of you has a meeting point, meet there. You
Mhm.
have my office number. I can pull strings from here with my phone. Elysium is not called for this evening. I did put in a request, however, I was told that due to certain circumstances in the city, we would have to hold it in 2 nights' time. You can thank the Nosferatu and the Skulls for that, with their little stunt in funding the art wing of the university and its renovation. There are a few fires that the prince is currently trying to put out with the Toreador.
No worries. I'll grab Frank. We'll go and see if we can find the others, and we'll arrange a safe place either just outside the city or around the edges of the city, so that we don't cause too much trouble until tomorrow evening when we're ready to be presented.
Sounds good. The docks are no man's land. The waterfront is free feeding grounds, but technically falls on a few people's areas, so they don't care as long as you clean up your feeding, but they would mind if you settle in. There's the train yard, but you may want to make certain that you're in an abandoned car, and that way you don't wake up 2 states over.
Yeah, of course. Okay. Yeah, I'll grab Frank and then we'll try to find the others.
Oh, you're welcome to stay until the others either reach out to you.
Yeah, that actually might be a better idea because they go to the wings. I don't know where they are. So yeah, if we're okay, we'll just stay downstairs out of the way. And then
Try and
hope that they
keep them
come
to
to us.
your space for now.
Sorry, say again?
Keep them to your space for now.
Yeah, of course we'll do.
Let's see. I think the doctor said he had an apartment that falls into my area. Oh, Frank had inquired about doing work about the club. Once you're presented, I will get him a list. I had the
Okay.
girls last night write up the things that they want repaired so he can work on them first.
Right. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, if you're happy for him to do that. He's pretty good with his hands. He knows what he's doing.
Mm-hmm. I'll make sure he's compensated.
Thank you.
As you get up to leave, it looks as though she's going to go say something. Instead, she stands up and opens the door for you.
Okay. I will troop back downstairs to see if Frank is still in the garage where we crash out.
Yeah, Frank will be tinkering with something in the garage to try and like upgrade what's already here. Maybe he's like doing something on where you sleep. He's kind of like adding some additional level of light protection.
Cool. All right, thanks.
All right.
Yeah, we've got wait here for the night. See if the others come here. Kind of hoping they do because I don't know where they've gone. Although Josephine seems to think she knows roughly where the dock might be. If they come here, if not, we might have to go and find them. But there's no Elysium tonight, so we can't get presented tonight. We're gonna have to lie low for another night.
All right. Something I want to talk to you about.
Okay.
I'm a little bit worried.
What about
Me.
okay? What about you?
I'm a bit weird, right? I know you've
You have
noticed.
your moments, yeah.
I think last night, I think I'm seeing stuff that you ain't seeing.
Okay. I saw the dude you mentioned, the hat guy.
Yeah, but I saw loads of other stuff that you
Right.
weren't seeing, and I'm hearing things that you ain't hearing, and I don't know what's real and what's not real.
Do you think it's because you drained the guy completely?
I don't know what it is. I wasn't like this before.
Right.
I need you to help me with this. I'm not used to being a problem.
Okay. Well, look, you're not a massive problem. You haven't done anything particularly wrong. You're just seeing things and hearing things that other people aren't. Let's just go through a process of elimination, yeah? If you don't drain anyone dry tonight, are you seeing and hearing things? And let's just narrow it down. It could be that you've got a drink but not drain.
No, I don't think you understand. I don't think it's linked to that. My wife and my daughter, I see them all the time.
Right.
And they died decades ago.
Did you see them before you returned?
No.
This is
I
one
don't.
for your style when you find them.
Yeah, I know, but
the garden.
listen, the thing I'm worried about, and that, like, I want to get to the bottom of it and all that, but I'm trying to say to you, I'm a practical guy, and I'm used to being useful, and this makes me unpredictable, and I'm worried about it. I don't want to be a problem, and I need you to help me with it.
I'll help you out, yeah. I'll keep an eye on you. Okay? But you need need to seek help from someone who's a bit more,
Yeah.
yeah, knows a bit more.
Yeah. I need you to help me ground, and then
Yeah.
I'll figure it out and get it fixed.
Mhm. Deal.
Okay, he grunts and then turns and just carries on with his work.
Frank,
Hmm.
could you give me a wits awareness at a DC 3? 3 successes is what we're aiming for.
Nope. I can't give you shit, apparently.
You could reroll.
Yeah, right, then I'll willpower reroll that.
Okay. And that would be 3.
Willpower reroll.
You could also rouse technically, but this is something passive that you're not particularly aware of.
I'm not going to rouse because I don't know what's going on. So this is not an active thing for me. No, jack shit. Maybe this conversation about grounding myself has actually done the job of grounding myself so that I can't see stuff now. I'm cured!
Honestly? Possibly.
A thermonuclear device detonated behind you, but you didn't know.
Well, I'd be cured that way as well. Who knew that recognizing your problems was the key to curing them?
Oh, it's the first step, at least.
Well, apparently, it's the whole thing.
Oh my lord. Okay. Frank, as you are working with the sheet of metal in front of you and you are slowly hammering to better fit the form you want to fill to light-proof Hank's portion of the garage, each strike of the hammer reminds you a little bit more about not necessarily thunder, it's something louder, something more present, something in your past that you've experienced, and you begin to relive a scene in your mind that you had while in service. And you just kind of lose yourself in the repetition to where you've completely bent this piece of metal, not necessarily an angle that you cannot use, but just all out of sorts, nowhere near what you originally were aiming for. And you're just standing there, almost eyes glazed over, as following your conversation of grounding yourself, you have immediately lost yourself, not in the warmth of the memories of your wife and child that have been popping up recently, or even just like the way your mind has potentially been playing tricks on you for all you're certain of at this point, but the very real situation of being in combat. And then as you bring the hammer down one final time and you kind of nick yourself just very lightly, it doesn't actually do any particular damage to you. It breaks you out of this and you see what you've done. You weren't using the force that you could use against someone. So the hammer is intact, your hand is intact.
He'll just mutter under his breath and see if he can find some or see if he can fix it into some, or use it in some other way, like trying to make the situation as practical as possible. Like, this is all very worrying for him.
The rush of sound begins to come back to your ears. You can hear laughter and music. You hear the dull sound of a bass beating through the wall next to where the garage is. and you can hear not necessarily motor cars going
Oh.
by, but
Uh,
definitely heavy foot traffic. And you look over and you see Hank, who's just kind of still standing there, having just finished the conversation with you.
I need to get a radio.
We saw that. Yeah. Any particular radio, or
Oh, it doesn't matter.
you can sort your radio? No worries, pal. Just don't
I think
lose
it.
it.
I think it might help me to concentrate.
Okay.
The two of you spend the next 30 minutes to an hour kind of going about your early night business as you wait for the others to reach out. Dr. Isaacs, what's your first order of business as you awake in your new light-proofed apartment?
Um,
Ah, yes, rouse checks, please.
Oh yeah.
Oh dear, Dr.
any
Isaacs.
food? Yeah.
Oh fuck! I actually got hungry.
Oh.
I was really enjoying not having any hunger.
Hubby's gonna die.
Oh, no! Hey, Dr. Isaacs. You wake up, and you are particularly parched. That hunger that you were able to kind of push off the other day and it began to feel unpleasant toward the end of the evening is now trying to claw its way into control.
Yeah. Um, what day is this?
Thursday evening, I think yesterday was Wednesday when you went to the library.
That's perfect. It's Thursday. We're gonna go find somebody.
Thirsty Thursday. Nice.
Thursday. Okay. You pop out of the apartment and actually.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab the books and put the books in the van and take the van.
Okay.
I'm gonna go crawl for a tourist that I can pull into the van.
Okay. Is there a particular area that you begin to kind of crawl around with the van?
Probably some of the hotels, that kind of thing. Maybe some of the bars between the hotels.
So you're
if
kind
someone
of.
wants to ride back to their bar. Their
You're.
hotel.
Are you staying in the fringe quarter, or are you going to like the fringes of the area to one of the other quarters?
Actually, you're right. I would know better.
Well, the reason why I asked that also is because the fringe quarter is laid out in a very tight pattern, and the hotels are usually in even inebriated walking distance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. Scratch that idea then. I'm just gonna go to the waterfront or the riverfront, wherever they said that was safe to hunt.
Water, riverfront, synonymous for here.
What's
Okay.
the river?
All right, make your way southwest of your current apartment. Having to wait a few times on people crossing the road takes a bit. It's getting irritating. You're getting frustrated. Could I get a resist frenzy from you at this point? You have
Yeah.
pushed your current situation down as far as you can and not acknowledged it beyond the bare minimum. And now it is rearing its head. And these people who have it so easy just walking around in front of you. Oh. Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Add the 2 die.
What do I roll? I'm not sure.
It would be the resist frenzy, and then you would add the +2, so the +2 modifier on it.
Difficulty 2.
Yeah. No, we'll put it at 3.
Thanks.
Well, fuck.
Well,
That
I
was
think
so perfectly timed. I didn't even know the result before I said it. I want to be fair about that. But because you had already hit send, we will leave it at 2, because that was so perfectly, terribly timed. I don't want to pick on you.
Do it.
Um,
Do it.
I've done a willpower
Do it.
roll. Some of them is roll.
in the future, I will let you know. But for this one, we will let it sit. You tense, your knuckles turning white as you grip the steering wheel. And then the last person's gone, and you hear honking behind you and realize you can move forward. You have a straight shot to the waterfront, and you begin slowly trawling around. Do you leave the van, or do you spend the entire time inside the van trying to find somebody that you can pull over beside?
I'll probably leave the van. Park it somewhere relatively. I mean, it's New Orleans, so streets are all just gonna be cars on the street.
Yep.
So just it'll just be another van on the street.
That's fair enough. Do you stay? Okay. So, like a trapdoor spider, do you stay within the van and wait for somebody to walk in front of the door and yoink them in? Or do you actually go out and hunt?
I actually go out and hunt.
Okay. It doesn't take you very long. A lot of people end up wandering down here either for not necessarily fresh air, but less claustrophobic setting than the French Quarter can give, because it's much more open at this point. And you notice that there are plenty of inebriated individuals around, but most of them are in groups. There are a few other individuals that look down on their luck, potentially homeless, that are kind of skulking around what you imagine are abandoned buildings and warehouses. There are no lights on in the windows. A number of the windows are broken. Most of the areas are boarded up. And the main entrance is actually sealed shut.
You can see my dilemma.
Yeah. Um, Knowing that, do you stay on the waterfront or do you head back on foot with your current particular diet?
uh,
You do know that the transient individuals usually are not from around here. They're typically individuals that are moving through or have recently come to the city, already down on their luck. You are in the area of where a good number of the shipping and particularly railway lanes are.
okay.
If you follow around some of them, you may be able to find somebody that likely hopped a train recently that just happened to stumble off.
You know, I'll just go up to a homeless person. I'll just start talking to him.
Okay. Find a younger gentleman. He's pretty weathered, but you imagine that he's probably maybe in his mid-20s at this point. You can see that his clothes have been repatched and are particularly grimy, but not necessarily full of open holes. And he gives you a cautious, cursory glance. What can I help you with?
I'm gonna open my wallet and hand him the $5 bill.
His eyes turn huge, and he's looking at it, and his hand is like halfway reached out towards it, but also hesitating to actually take the money from you. I'm not that. I don't do that kind of work, sir.
It's not that kind of thing.
Okay,
Just,
okay.
need a little favor.
What kind of favor?
I, as a new player, have to ask you a question.
Okay. Bad things.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
For those of you curious, the question arose of what happens at higher hunger levels. Quote, bad things.
Just do it.
People get
Find out.
it.
You'll find out.
You're right. You're right. You know, if I die, I die. I just
You won't
have a new
die.
character.
No, it's just
If-
fun stuff. It's fun. Don't worry about it.
You're not gonna die. If you kill him, they don't learn nothing.
Okay. Give me the rouse check.
Yep.
Wow.
We have hit hunger level 5.
Oh dear.
Give me just a moment.
So what's your next character gonna look like then, buddy?
I ran into this really cool Tremere guy at the library.
Yeah.
Hey, when in doubt, play Tremere.
Okay.
Sabbat Tremere were interesting.
I need you to roll me another resist frenzy. With your
What
bonus
is the DC?
4.
Okay.
17.
Oh, that's generous.
Is this a hunger?
It's a
frenzy?
5. Yes, this is a hunger frenzy.
DC of 4.
No. Hold on. DC of 5. Sorry. DC of 5.
Is it not a hunger frenzy?
It is a hunger frenzy. Is a DC
Okay.
of 5. 6 successives.
Lucky.
Isn't that
Dr.
for
Isaacs.
success? Because 2 10s or not?
It should calculate the.
Yeah, it does. It calculates
It calculates the successes.
Okay.
the criticals on there. Yeah.
Yeah, because I only
Otherwise,
had
it
4
would be
good
4.
dice. Yeah.
It's a bloodbath. Dr. Isaacs, explain to me how you intend to mesmerize this poor young man down on his luck.
Quietly get in the van and stay there.
Your tone takes on more of the professor addressing the class. It's stern and direct. But by the time you realize what you've done, you have a hand over his mouth and you have clenched his outstretched wrist in your other hand to the point where you can feel the bones starting to press together. Much more pressure would actually break it. And his panicked look is going to glance towards like the direction you came from, and he does not see a van. But he's not moving. And he will, if you start to move, he will start to move with you.
Okay.
It has taken hold, you can tell that. How do you proceed from here?
Now, once he's in the van, I'm just gonna eat him. Well, I'm not gonna kill him. I'm going to try not to kill him.
Yeah, you're gonna try. We're gonna make that. That's gonna be a little bit difficult.
Well, we got here and I was at a 3, and I was like, okay, I'll eat soon. And then I had to do something. And then I had to do something else.
Not my fault.
Now your hunger's 74.
And you keep re-rolling, and you're just like. Eventually, your 9 dice pool will fail. Eventually.
Unless I rolled 9 10s.
We will have this standoff, and I will win. You guide him back towards the van, eventually taking your hand off of his mouth and your other hand away from his wrist. And once you indicate which one to go towards, he does. He gets in through the side, he's quiet, he sits there, there's no fuss involved on his side of it. Meanwhile, you are kind of glancing over your shoulder the entire time, just a little more hyper aware of the things going on around you. A paranoia sitting in the back of your mind. Maybe somebody noticed. Maybe somebody's watching us right now. This does look a little weird. Okay, no, this is fine. Nobody's actually following me. You get into the van. And you approach him.
I shut the door.
I was not going to be that mean.
Okay, well.
Maybe in the future I will be, specifically to you after that. You enter the van. It is sealed and more or less private because you have set up the back to be a pseudo rest area for yourself while you're on call. You draw the curtains that would block off the front set of seats so no one can easily see within the van itself. He sits there, docile, a little nervous, but listening to the command you gave nonetheless. And as you feed, please give me a willpower roll. We're gonna do a DC 3.
Don't fuck it up. Don't fuck it up. Don't fuck it up. Don't fuck it up.
Okay. It's not a physically pleasant feeding experience for you. The taste of the blood is still genuinely wonderful, but the scent of the individual, the lack of cleanliness on them, the texture of their clothing as you are unfortunately feeding, it just everything about their unkempt appearance is standing out to you more than your sated status. And as you drink, it's like a bottomless pit. It's like you can't get enough, unfortunately, and you do end up killing the individual.
Okay.
He ends up lifeless in your hands, completely drained of blood, and as you sit there, it starts to weigh on you a little bit. Only a little. Maybe more with time. The thought of this is your life now crosses your mind. Is it particularly easy for Dr. Isaacs, who has trained to save lives, to easily take one now to feed
Who has
himself?
taken the Hippocratic Oath and all that good
Yep.
jazz? No.
No. And as you continue to think on it, and you look down at this young man in your hands, who is just the worst point in his life was meeting you moments ago, whereas previously you would have probably been his saving grace. What do you do with the body?
First question is, how much hunger do I slake?
Oh, you're good. You're not hungry.
I'm at 0.
You're at 0 for right now.
I'm going to get Frank.
Okay. So you're gonna drive with the body in the van.
Yeah, it's in the back.
Just
It
confirming.
doesn't have any blood.
I mean, there's still some like vestiges here and there, like a little remnants, not
I'll
not
wrap it
the.
up in the bed sheet that I have back there.
Okay. There's a body-esque pillow, body shape lump in your blankets now.
Okay.
Peter,
Hi.
you awake the next evening at home. Rare experience for you. This is actually the first time that you slept in your own bed in about a month or more.
Yeah.
It's very comfortable feeling to be able to lay there in your own bed after such a long trip away. But simultaneously, you don't have that pleasant, slowly waking from sleep experience. You are immediately awake.
Kind of feel a bit antsy about being in the house.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I just get up and leave. I don't really want to be in it. I just have a bit of a wander around the town for a bit. Not really sure what's going on. Didn't really speak to anybody. Didn't really know what I was going to be doing after.
You did
Um,
touch bases with them before everybody went their own way initially coming in. There was an agreement at some point to meet up at the 500 Club. So
okay.
you know roughly of a location to meet up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'll head that way. But I'll go via the main sort of area that Matty usually goes to, where I saw the girl, the blonde woman.
Kitten.
So I'm gonna kitten, kitten. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna head roughly over that sort of direction and make my way through there towards the 500 Club.
Are you looking for anyone in particular?
Just not specifically, just seeing what's going on, seeing if there's anything untoward, people are misbehaving, all that kind of jazz, really. Kind of cop eyes, but not
I mean,
overly.
there's the usual mischief of the area. You have a couple of ladies on the corner, a younger man with them, definitely dressed up in the same type of line of work. And they are occasionally catcalling or getting catcalled. Give me a intelligence investigation at a 2. Because I imagine you're keeping an eye out to see if Kitten is there.
Yeah.
Not necessarily saying that you're looking to interact. Okay. 3. You notice Kitten in the same place as before from the other day. She doesn't seem any worse for wear. In fact, she looks like she's dolled up a bit better today. There are none of the usual clientele around her, however, that you would expect to see around a young lady dressed as she is. And it's very similar type of she's giving directions here or she's giving directions there and she's playfully flirting, but you never see an exchange of hands. And you imagine that she's probably more of a pusher, like she's more of a broker in general. She probably has somebody who pays her a set fee depending on what she's doing for that evening.
Okay. I'm gonna go over and say hi.
Hi, darling. How'd your night go the other night with that information I gave you?
Yeah. All right. Have you heard from
Seemed
him?
grumpy. Hmm?
I'm always grumpy. Have you heard from him?
Oh, no. Was I supposed to?
No. Just didn't know if you had or not.
Well, I'm still in his spot, aren't I?
Yeah. He seems alright, but we'll see.
Oh, okay. The less I know, the better, but I'm glad he seems okay.
Is he kind of a business associate, or is he someone who works for you?
I mean, I guess you could say he's kind of an associate. He's more of the carrying type.
Okay. We may have some business to do in the not too distant. But I'll get in touch with you here.
Mm-hmm. Just don't come around too often. You're a little
No.
bad for business.
Yeah, no, I get that. Right. Later.
Have a good night, hon. As you're like stepping away, she gives you a pat on the butt. Completely passes it off, turning to face the other direction, engaging in conversation with a pair of what looks to be college-aged younger men as she's pointing towards a different bar across the street and explaining that they should order this and that, and these are the specials on the menu.
Cool, cool, cool. I'm gonna head my way over to the 500 Club.
Okay. Business in the quarter is booming as usual as you pass through. There is an elevated presence of officers at this current time that you do notice also. However, they seem to be located primarily in the main portion of the quarter, like the square, bourbon, things like that. And she and Maddie usually are off to the corner. They're not really in this area. They're not in the main limelight.
Not making things difficult for themselves, but obviously there.
Mm-hmm.
Cool, 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 cool.
Jules,
Mm-hmm.
you wake up in the guest bedroom. Romero has, as he is adjusting to the new sleeping schedule, already awoken and left you for the moment. There is a note that if you would like breakfast, it's air quotes breakfast, it's already been prepared and will be downstairs waiting for you.
She'll smile and say, "Oh, lovely. I don't mind if I do." And then she'll head downstairs to see who's the poor unfortunate soul that will feed her.
Romero hasn't put two and two together quite yet. He's a little swift on the business end of things, but on the uptake with Jules, he's exceptionally slow. especially since you did lick the wound.
Mm-hmm.
So what you walk into is scrambled eggs, a full rasher of bacon, toast, your favorite jam, just everything laid out and nice and neat on the island in the center, and you see the cook and he smiles and greets you. Well, good morning, madame.
Good morning.
I
Forgive.
was instructed that we will be doing evenings now.
Yes, yes. Where is my love at?
Oh, he went to the office that I believe.
Oh,
Not at home.
oh. She'll take a moment to look around. Um,
You're alone. As far as you're aware, you're alone. You know that there are bodyguards in the house. Technically, you don't see any present.
okay. I want to do the compel. It's
Mhm.
dominate one.
Okay.
Hold still. That's
He just raises his eyebrows at you a little bit, but does not move. He's completely still.
and then I want to feed and go down to one hunger.
Okay, how many are you taking?
Just one. That way I can be because I'm two right now. Well, Jules is, so I could be one,
Okay.
and then lick the wound,
Mm-hmm.
and then if I can look her in the cook in the eye again. Uh, sit down, sit down. You know, like, are you okay? You had a little fainting spell.
Do you cloud memory or anything?
It's more like I don't have cloud memory. Only thing I got is compel. Are you okay?
Yes. Goodness. I did not know you felt so.
Oh, well, you feed me all the time, so I figured I'd show my appreciation.
I see. It may be best not to tell the husband about this.
Yeah, let's just keep this a secret between you and me. What's your out of character? What's this character's name? I'm sorry, but I'm
Thanks ever so
sure.
much for letting me suck on your neck. But what's
Yeah,
your name?
yeah. I mean, Jules would know, but I don't know this character. Out of character, of course.
Benoit Bordeaux.
Benoit. Okay,
Benoit.
gotcha. Benoit.
And he is sitting there fanning himself, like red in the face, blushing exceptionally deep. It just, goodness.
Yeah. Here, have
That
some.
was quite a moment.
I know, I enjoyed it myself. Here, eat some
Oh,
eggs.
yeah, he will start eating the eggs he had originally made for you,
Right, because
which are quite fresh and nice and fluffy.
even put like a little Tabasco sauce if he likes it on there.
Yep, yep.
Um,
Oh, goodness.
this is so bad.
Yes.
I'm gonna go into town because I gotta meet some friends. Okay,
Okay.
if you
Um,
see my husband, just let him know. Okay.
I thought that was not supposed to.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
Yeah,
going into town.
no.
Okay, okay.
I'm going into town. It's about this that you're not supposed to, but you can
Yes,
tell him
yes.
that I gave you a message to give him.
I will let him know.
Excellent.
Good evening, Miss Fontenot.
That'll be all. Been a while. And then after she's gotten done with that and got him sorted, she'll go out to a car or something, and then I'm sure the guards will like let her go or ask where she's going, and she'll just say that she's going out for business.
Yeah, they will inquire. They'll ask if you want somebody to go with you. Are you certain you don't want someone to go with you? And then after if you confirm one way or the other, they won't push it beyond that.
She'll just let them know that she's probably gonna go by the 500 club,
Okay.
so they know where she is.
Yeah. And you know that even if perhaps Bin Laden does not share the information, then they will.
Right. Well, I think she would also be accustomed to if she doesn't tell them, then they'll get into trouble. So she's
Yes.
just being thorough. I don't know if Jules would want someone to go with her or not. I want to think that she goes off all by herself sometimes, or a lot of the times, unless it's like business.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, she is well trained in defending herself.
True that.
And with that, each of you makes your way towards the 500 Club. Thank you for listening, and stay tuned for our next episode.